ग्रंथरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। समवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री गुरु और गौरांग की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवतीर्वुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 17, entitled Description of the Varnashram System, text number 28. सायं प्रातरुपाणीय भैक्ष्यं तस्मै निवेदयेत्। यच्छान्यद्यप्यनुज्ञात मुपयुञ्जीत संयतः। सायं प्रातरुपाणीय भैक्ष्यं तस्मै निवेदयेत्। यच्छान्यद्यप्यनुज्ञात मुपयुञ्जीत संयतः। सायं प्रातरुपाणीय भैक्ष्यं तस्मै निवेदयेत्। यच्छान्यद्यप्यनुज्ञात मुपयुञ्जीत संयतः। सायं प्रातरुपाणीय यच्छान्यद्यप्यनुज्ञात उपयुञ्जीत संयुतः। सायं प्रातरुपाणीय माताजी। प्रातरुपाणीय भैक्ष्यं तस्मै निवेदयेत्। यच्छान्यद्यप्यनुज्ञातम् word to word translation. Sayam, in the evening. Pratah, in the morning. Upaniya, bringing. Bhaikshyam, food that is collected by begging. Tasmai, unto him, the Acharya. Nivedayet, one should deliver. Yat, that which. Cha, also. Anyat, other things. Api, indeed. Anugnatam, that which is permitted. Upayanjita, one should accept. Samyataha, being fully controlled. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Translation. In the morning and evening, one should collect foodstuffs and other articles and deliver them to the spiritual master. Then, being self-controlled, one should accept for oneself that which is allotted by the Acharya. Purport. One who desires to receive the mercy of the bona fide spiritual master should not be eager to accumulate the paraphernalia of sense gratification. Rather, whatever one is able to collect, one should offer at the lotus feet of the Acharya. Being self-controlled, one should humbly accept that which is allotted by the bona fide spiritual master. Every living entity must ultimately be trained to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But until one has become expert in the techniques of spiritual science, one should offer everything to the spiritual master, who is completely realized in the process of worshipping the Lord. When the spiritual master sees that the disciple is advanced in Krishna consciousness, he then engages the disciple in directly worshipping the personality of Godhead. A bona fide spiritual master does not use anything for his personal sense gratification and entrusts to his disciple only as much material opulence as the disciple can properly offer to the lotus feet of the Lord. The example may be given that when an ordinary father tries to train his son in business and other material activities, he entrusts to the son only as much wealth as the son can intelligently engage in profitable enterprises without foolishly wasting the father's hard-earned money. Similarly, the bona fide spiritual master teaches his disciple to worship the Lord, and an immature disciple must simply deliver everything to the lotus feet of the Guru, just as an immature child does not keep a personal bank account, but rather receives his maintenance from the father, who trains the son to be responsible. If one cheats oneself by defying the order of the bona fide spiritual master or Krishna, one certainly becomes a non-devotee or sense enjoyer and falls from the spiritual path. Therefore, one should be trained to serve a bona fide spiritual master and thus become mature in Krishna consciousness. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuronmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Sva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So we are reading the 11th canto. In this chapter and in the next chapter, Lord Krishna is describing the Varnashram system. And particularly in the current section, Krishna is describing the different duties of the people in the different ashramas, starting from Brahmachari ashram, Grahastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyas. In the current verse which we are discussing today, he is discussing the dharma of a brahmachari. So he says that Sayam pratarupaniya bhaikshyam tasmai nivedayet. So many of these verses, Krishna talks about some of these verses. In the modern setting, it might seem little very unfamiliar, but we will try to take up the main principles and try to discuss. Because many of these verses, they talk about the system of Varnashram in the Vedic age, according to the Vedic Varnashram. Prabhupada talked about 4 types of Varnashram. One is the Vedic Varnashram as it was practiced in the Vedic age, which cannot be established in the current time because there are so many changes as the Kali Yuga is progressing. And another type of Varnashram which Prabhupada talked about is the dormant Varnashram. In his conversation with Professor Kotowski in Russia, he said that even in your communist country, there are classes. Some people are administrative class, some people are laborer. Even here there is class. It's not that everybody is equal. Even there is Varnashram even here. So that means Varnashram is dormant always because it is created by Krishna, it cannot be destroyed. So in dormant Varnashram, there is nothing to establish because it's always going to be dormant. Another type of Varnashram is Asurik Varnashram. Asurik Varnashram is where a person claims to be a Brahmana or a Kshatriya based on the birthright, although he does not have the qualifications of them. And this kind of Varnashram, it is actually, it will cause disaster and it will only ruin the society more. But the 4th type of Varnashram which Prabhupada wanted to establish is the Daivi Varnashram, which is the transcendental Varnashram system, which has the central point as pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead or the Bhagavad Dharma, the principles of devotional service. So some of these verses, they talk about the lifestyle as exactly in the Vedic Varnashram, but still the principles apply. We'll discuss more from the principles point of view. So here Krishna says that Sayam pratarupaniya bhaikshyam tasmai nivedayet. So traditionally a brahmachari would go and actually beg house to house and get different bhiksha. So Krishna is saying whatever bhiksha he gets from different people, one must give it to the Guru. So nivedayet means this is a compulsory thing. One must give it to the Guru. It's like a vidhi, rule. Yat chanyad ap anugyatam Upayunjita samyataha. And then after giving it to the Guru, a brahmachari should develop a attitude of sense control. He should accept whatever is given by the Guru as his quota. Anugyatam. Anugyatam means whatever is permitted by the Guru, upayunjita, one must accept it. That which is allotted by the Acharya or by the Guru. So essentially, this verse, we can say, this talks about the, especially for a brahmachari, this verse talks about the principles of accepting whatever is required, whatever is permitted by the Guru. This verse talks about acknowledging the proprietorship of the Guru and only accepting whatever is given by the Guru. So we will discuss in this line. So we can have some references from the scriptures, like for example, the story of Mrigari, the hunter. Mrigari became a great devotee by the mercy of Narada Muni. Once Narada Muni and Parvata Muni, they came to visit Mrigari. That time, Narada Muni asked Mrigari, how do you actually maintain yourself? Where do you get the maintenance from? So at that time, the Mrigari said, whomever you send gives me something when he comes to see me. I just focus on actually doing my sadhana, and you only send different people. Whatever they give as a bhiksha, and I actually, with that I maintain. And then Mrigari says, please do not send more people. Just send that much bhiksha which is needed for one or two people. Do not actually send more bhiksha through different people. So, in that connection, Prabhupada actually emphasizes the importance of not accumulating or not storing more than required. So, different ashramas, they have a different principles. Like Prabhupada in this connection, he mentions that in the Grahastha ashram, storing for the future is allowed, but in the Brahmachari ashram, that storing for the future is not allowed. He also comments that once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked for some haritaki, some digestive after eating the meal. And then Govinda immediately gave haritaki to Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu asked that, yesterday you gave me haritaki after some delay. How come that you gave me haritaki today immediately? So Govinda said that I actually stored something for yesterday for today, so therefore I could give immediately. So Mahaprabhu said, no, you should not actually store, you must actually, it is better not to stock the food. Why did you keep a stock for the next day? Just accept whatever is actually, just depend on Krishna, and whatever he supplies, one must accept it. So in this way, the sense, this principle of especially being satisfied with whatever one have, this becomes especially applicable for the brahmacharis, vanaprasthas and sannyasis. In fact, the same point was emphasized by Vamanadev to Bali Maharaj. When Bali Maharaj told Vamanadev to ask for charity, Vamanadev said that, I just want 3 steps of land. So at that time, Bali Maharaj says that, what kind of a benediction you are asking for? I can give anything, whatever you want. That time Vamanadev says that a Brahmana or a Brahmachari who does not accept more than that is required, who does not accept more charity than it is required, by that he does not become entangled in karma. By accepting only that much is required, he doesn't become entangled. So Prabhupada in that purport he says that this principle of being satisfied with whatever one has, it is especially applicable for the brahmacharis, vanaprasthas and sannyasis who live at the cost of others. Yeah, in the case of grahasthas, they can store something for the future because they live with the family and children. So in this way, the same principle is emphasized in different places. And when we talk about acknowledging the proprietorship of the Guru, it also includes actually not only whatever we possess, we actually we acknowledge that whatever possessions belong to the Guru, we should also acknowledge that even our body belongs to the Guru. And the same principle also comes in the Mahaprabhu's dealings with Sanatana Goswami. So Sanatana Goswami, when he was coming to Jagannath Puri, he got a skin disease. And like different, there was like pus was oozing out of his body and then blood was coming out. But Mahaprabhu would come and actually embrace Sanatana Goswami again and again, whenever he would see him. So Sanatana Goswami felt so embarrassed. At a certain point, he decided to commit suicide by actually by coming in front of the Jagannath Ratha cart and allowing himself to be climbed over by the Jagannath Ratha cart. And he wanted to actually end his body. So one day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was thinking about that in his mind. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one day, he suddenly took up a conversation and he told Sanatana Goswami, do you think that one can attain Krishna by actually committing suicide? If it is so that one can attain Krishna by committing suicide, I am ready to end my body, I am ready to give up my body hundreds of times. And then Mahaprabhu said, actually, committing suicide is in the mode of ignorance. How can a person attain Krishna by an activity in the mode of ignorance? Krishna is actually transcendental to three modes. How can you attain Krishna by performing an activity which is in the mode of ignorance? The only way to attain Krishna is by performing bhakti. And he quotes a verse spoken by Krishna to Uddhava that one cannot attain Krishna by tapasya or yoga, by the study of the Shastra. The only way by which one can attain Krishna is by bhakti. Sometimes a devotee, because of separation from Krishna, being unable to tolerate the separation from Krishna, one may think of committing suicide. But then the devotee, because of separation from Krishna, because of intense love, he attains the darshan of Krishna and then he doesn't end his life. Like for example, Rukmini Devi, because of intense separation from Krishna, she wrote in her letter to Krishna, if I am not able to attain you in this lifetime, I am ready to perform tapasya for hundreds of lifetimes. I am ready to give up my body hundreds of lifetimes in order to attain the mercy of you. So therefore, that Mahaprabhu said that simply by committing suicide, one cannot actually attain Krishna. Only by bhakti one can attain Krishna. And then the main activities of bhakti is hearing and chanting. When Sanatana Goswami heard this, he felt that how is it that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how did he understand my mind? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how is it that he actually came to know what was going on in my mind? So at that time, Mahaprabhu said, actually, your body is my property. How can you destroy the property of somebody else without taking the permission of the owner of the property? So you cannot commit suicide because I have many plans to accomplish by using your body as an instrument. I want you to go to Vrindavan and establish the proper conduct of a Vaishnava. I want you to write the devotional literatures. I want you to excavate the holy places of Vrindavan. So therefore, please give up this foolish thought of committing suicide. So this pastime also tells that that actually not just one's possessions belong to the spiritual master, but one's very own body actually belongs to the spiritual master. And we find that so therefore, this principle of acknowledging the proprietorship of the Guru, that is the main theme of this verse. This may be applied in the current times in a different ways. The forms may change, but the principle remains same, acknowledging the proprietorship of the Guru. So in the Vedic age, where the brahmachari would be begging, and then whatever he would get, and then he would just offer it to the Guru. If the Guru does not say that you cannot eat, if the Guru does not give permission for eating, he would fast. So like that, Krishna Shakadeva writes in the purport. But the main theme of the purport verse is that acknowledging the proprietorship of the Guru. Like the same principle applies even in teaching Krishna consciousness. Means like whichever place which the Guru has given, one actually goes there and teaches Krishna consciousness. So that is called as a Prabhu Datta Desha. Prabhu Datta Desha, whichever, that is why Nityananda Prabhu did not actually start preaching until ordered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this also shows that acknowledging the proprietorship of the Supreme Lord or this representative. And when we talk about this principle of acknowledging the proprietorship of the superiors, we can also see in another light that whatever praise or the fame or adoration which we may receive from the people, that should also be offered to the Guru. In one sense, like this can be more applicable in the current time, because traditionally only sannyasis would actually preach and brahmacharis would only assist the sannyasis. But in the current times, brahmacharis also actually teach Krishna consciousness to spread the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in the process, they also receive so much of respect. But one should actually acknowledge the proprietorship of the Guru. One should actually give that respect back to the Guru. For example, the sages of Naimisharanya, they glorify Suta Goswami. Tanno Bhavanvai Bhagavat Pradano Mahattamai Kanta Parayanasya. You are a learned and a pure devotee of the Lord, because the personality of Godhead is your chief object of service. Therefore, please describe to us the pastimes of the Lord, which are above all material conception. But as soon as the sages glorify Suta Goswami begins by saying that Aho Vayam Janma Bhritadya Hasma Vriddhanu Vriddhyapi Viloma Jata Daushkulya Madim Vidunoti Shigram Mahattamanam Abhidhana Yoga. He says that actually I am born in a mixed family. I am not born in a very high class family. I am born in a family of mixed caste. But because of hearing from a spiritual master like Shukdev Goswami, and by serving the spiritual master like Shukdev Goswami, all my disqualifications due to birth have been vanquished. In fact, simply by conversing with a great soul, all one's impurities and disqualifications from the previous low birth, they all can be cleansed, they all can be vanquished. So in this way, Suta Goswami, although the sages glorified Suta Goswami is passing on that glory to Shukdev Goswami. The glory actually belongs to Shukdev Goswami. Because of serving and hearing from him, actually I acquired this qualification. So Prabhupada says in the purport, the word Mahattamanam Abhidhana Yoga, it can mean the conversation with a great soul, or it can mean the dictionary of the great souls. That means, it means that the books written by the great souls. So by reading the books written by the great souls, although one may be disqualified because of his past birth, but all one's disqualification can be cleansed by by reading the books written by the great souls. And another example, we can take the example of Shukdev Goswami himself. Shukdev Goswami, in the 10th canto, when he described Parishit Maharaj, asked a question: how can the words of the Vedas describe the supreme absolute truth, who is Nirguna, who is beyond the three gunas, and who is without any designation, and who is beyond all the cause and effect? So generally the words of the Vedas actually deal with the three modes, but how can the words of the Vedas describe the supreme absolute truth, who is beyond the three gunas, who is actually Anirdeshi, Sad Asat Param, and Nirgune? And then Shukdev Goswami answers this question. And just the question of Parishit Maharaj and the one verse spoken by Shukdev Goswami in answer to that question, these two verses are called as the Brahma Upanishad. The Upanishad which teaches about the supreme absolute truth, Brahman. And there is elaborate purport to these two verses in the 87th chapter of the 10th canto. But after giving that answer, which is filled with so much of deep scholarship, but Shukdev Goswami does not want to claim authorship for that answer which he gave. He says, actually, the very same answer which I gave, I heard this from Narada Muni. And Narada Muni asked the very same question to Narayana Rishi, and Narayana Rishi answered to Narada Muni. And Narayana Rishi, in his answer to Narada Muni, he said that the very same question which you asked, it was asked by the residents of Janaloka. So at that time, Sanandan, he became the speaker, and then he answered by speaking the prayers of the Vedas personified. So what we can appreciate here is that Shukdev Goswami, he not just gave the answer to Parishit Maharaj's question, but more than that, he wanted to disclaim the authorship for that answer by quoting the previous authorities. That this is not the answer which just came from my intelligent mind, this is actually coming from the parampara. So therefore, this acknowledging that proprietorship by giving back the fame, by quoting the previous authorities, that is a broader principle we can see. So therefore, and another example we can see, like a disciple who does not acknowledge the proprietorship of the Guru, who does not acknowledge the proprietorship is Indra. When Brihaspati came to the assembly of Indra, like Indra was being worshipped by all his subordinates. But Indra identified more with the subordinates than with the Guru. So although he saw the Guru, but Indra actually, he did not acknowledge the presence of the Guru. He continued to accept the worship of the subordinates, and because of that, he actually fell from his position. And like sometimes, like there is a Niti Shastra verse which says that sometimes subordinates can actually pull a superior down. It's like an elephant, when it is tired, may come and take shelter of the tree. And after taking shelter of the tree, after taking shelter of the shade of the tree, the elephant will uproot the very tree which gave shelter. So sometimes the subordinates may glorify the superiors, and then the same followers, they will actually bring downfall to that superior. So many of the modern context, many of the followers in the Facebook, like they can easily promote some person, and they can also very easily bring down the person also. So, in the sense, we see Indra actually, like, he was accepting worship from the subordinates, and nobody reminded him also. Later his Shastra says, why did you not remind me also that I should actually worship the Guru? Guru is present. So in that way, one can get carried away by when a person identifies more with the subordinates or more with the possessions and less with the superiors, then one can fall from his position. So therefore, Prabhupada explains in a class that the success of a disciple is to be a fool in front of the Guru. But Indra, despite seeing the Guru, he maintains his prestige in front of the Guru, therefore he fell from his position. And talking about this principle of proprietorship, acknowledging the proprietorship, we have other references in the Bhagavatam. For example, Swayambhu Manu says, Atma Vasyam idam Vishwam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tyaktena Bunjita Magrada Kasyas Viddhana. So he says that one should accept, one should know that everything in this world is owned and controlled by the Supreme Lord, and one should accept whatever is set aside as one's quota by the Supreme Lord. And in that purport, he says that in the case of a rich man, how should a rich man acknowledge the proprietorship of the Supreme Lord? A rich man should acknowledge the proprietorship of the Supreme Lord by building temples of the Lord. And in building temples of the Lord, he should ensure that the temple is of a superior quality, that the temple should be more opulent than his own house. So then, by this act, he acknowledges the proprietorship of the Supreme Lord. So therefore, that this is although we hear this verse, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, the peace formula which Krishna speaks out in the Gita, but it's a very deep concept. It's easy to speak about that, but then to actually truly acknowledge the proprietorship, that is really difficult in the sense, because the tendency to accept oneself as the proprietor, it is very deep rooted. And we have the example of the story of Marut and his kingdom, how they acknowledge the proprietorship of the Supreme Lord. Like King Marut, when Yudhishthira Maharaj wanted to perform the Ashwamedha Yajnas, after the war was over, he felt that I am actually responsible for so many killings took place. Then Krishna told him to perform the Ashwamedha Yajna. But it requires so much of wealth. So then Krishna told Arjuna, you go to the northern direction, there you will find a lot of gold which was left forth, which is left from the sacrifice of Marutta, and you can bring that gold for performing Ashwamedha Yajna. So it is said that King Marutta, the previous times, he performed so much of sacrifices, and he was giving so much of gold in charity to the Brahmanas. And he gave so much gold in charity to the Brahmanas, but the Brahmanas, they only accepted whatever was required. And they did not carry all the gold. They left behind many of the gold. And moreover, many golden plates and pots were actually used in the sacrifice. And they were also left there. And King Marutta, because the Brahmanas accepted only whatever is required, he did not take back the gold also. And the other citizens, they also did not utilize the gold which was actually lying. Because they felt that, oh, this is not our property, it was given by the King Marutta to this Brahmanas. So in that sense, like that kingdom, this is an example that how they accepted only whatever was required as their own quota. That means they actually truly accepted acknowledged the proprietorship of the Supreme Lord. which also means accepting only one's own quota. And same theme, like that acknowledging the proprietorship means accepting only that which is set aside as our quota. But sometimes we want to interfere in others' quota, or sometimes we want to impose our quota on others. Or sometimes, like, there are certain rules, like the Vedic scriptures are like, the Vedas are like a mother. Yeah, like mother understands the capacity of each child, and according to the capacity of each child, the Vedas, Veda Mata, she actually prescribes different rules and different dharmas for the different varnas and ashramas. But sometimes a person wants to follow the rules or the concessions for the other order, and one wants to impose one's rule upon the others. So these are the mistakes of a conditioned soul. For example, Arjuna, when he went to the heavenly planets, like Urvashi wanted to unite with Arjuna, but Arjuna said that, like, I am from a earthly planet, that I consider you as my mother, that I cannot actually have a relationship with you. But Urvashi said that, but these rules don't apply in the heavenly planets, it is all right. But Arjuna said, but you may belong to the earthly planet, for you it may be all right, but I am coming from the earth. Like you belong to the heavenly planet, for you it may be all right, but I am coming from the earthly planet, but I don't want to follow these rules. So generally, like when people, many like Indians, they want to go to America because there is a freedom of sense gratification there. So, because they want to, sometimes people want to go to that place where there is no restrictions coming from the culture. So they don't want to, they want to follow the certain concessions which are there in some other place. And then sometimes we want to impose our rules on others. So therefore, that we have to accept what is our quota. Quota means it not only applies to the quantity of certain possessions for enjoyment, it also means that the certain rules and we have to accept the rules which are meant for us, and certain concessions are given for somebody, we should not actually demand those concessions which are given for somebody else. And we should not impose our rules on somebody else. So this also comes under the category of actually accepting the proprietorship or accepting the authority of the Vedas. And we also see the, in this theme of actually proprietorship, we also see the example of Pururava. Pururava says that one can never decide to whom the body belongs. Does it belong to one's parents? Or does it belong to one's wife? Or to one's employer? Or to the funeral fire? Or does the body belong to the dogs and jackals, because the dogs and jackals, they may eat the remnants of the body after the cremation, after the funeral? Or does the body belong to the funeral fire because the fire consumes the body? Or does the body belong to the soul? Or does the body belong to the friends who may help the body? And then he says, actually, although a man never definitely ascertains the proprietorship of the body, but he still becomes most attached to that impure body, headed toward a lowly destination. And he thinks that, oh, what an attractive woman, what a charming nose and smiling face. One never ascertains the proprietorship of the body, but still one becomes attached to something. One may become attached to one's body, or one may become attached to somebody else's body. So next point which I want to discuss is that one may get the question, when a person becomes so much devoted to the Guru, when a person makes the Guru as the proprietor of everything, what if the Guru cheats a person? Because generally people, like some of the people with the leftist ideologies, they say that, oh, this Varnashram system, they try to oppress the people. Like when they hear such kind of verses, see, the Varnashram system where the Guru will actually oppress the disciple or the Brahmana will oppress others. So one may get the question, if one has so much of loyalty towards the Guru that he gives everything to the Guru and then accepts only whatever is given by the Guru, what is the guarantee? What if the Guru cheats a person? So therefore, we have to understand that the scriptures, they not only give instruction to the disciple, but they also equally instruct the Guru also. The scriptures are so impartial, they give strong instruction to the disciple as well as to the Guru. For example, Krishna says in the 11th canto, this verse comes, Tatra Bhagavatan Dharman Sikshet Guru Atma Daivataha. So this verse says that one should actually go to the Guru and one must accept Diksha from the Guru, and then one must accept Shiksha also from the Guru. That purport Vishwanath Chakravarti says that a disciple should not simply accept Diksha from the Guru, but he must learn transcendental knowledge from the Guru. Again, the Sikshet, that means Vidiling, the compulsory, the Vidhi, it is mentioned in a compulsory way. One must actually learn transcendental knowledge from the Guru. And Chakravarti also mentions, from the point of view of the Guru also, he must not simply give Diksha to increase the number of disciples, but he must give Siksha to the disciple. In this way, that the scriptures, they are impartial in giving instruction to the disciple as well as the Guru. And one more verse I want to discuss in this regard. This is a famous verse from the Mundaka Upanishad. Tad Vigyanartham sa gurum eva abhigachet samitpani shrotriyam brahmanishtam. So one must approach a Guru in order to learn transcendental knowledge. For what purpose? Vigyana artham sa gurum eva abhigachet. One must go to a Guru. Samitpani, that means one should go to the Guru in a service mood. Traditionally, a disciple would go to the forest to collect some wood in service to the for the performance of yajna, in the service to the Guru. So Samitpani refers to the service mood. And what should be the qualities of the Guru? Shrotriyam and Brahmanishtam. Shrotriyam means he must be learned in the Vedas, he must be learned in the Shastra, and Brahmanishtam means the Guru's loyalty should be towards the Supreme Brahman. So this word will just try to highlight this, Brahmanishtam. The Guru's loyalty should be towards the Supreme Absolute Truth. Brahman means we can say the Supreme Absolute Truth, or towards the Shastra, because Shastras talk about the principles of Dharma. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. So, the word Brahmanishta, so when the Guru's loyalty is towards the Brahman, then when the disciple is loyal to that Guru, he will not be cheated. But if the disciple is loyal to the Guru, but if the Guru is not loyal to the Brahman, then if the Guru is not loyal to the Brahman or the principles of Dharma, then one can get cheated. So therefore, the quality of the Guru is Brahmanishtam. He should be loyal to the principles of Dharma. So just trying to elaborate on this word Brahmanishtam. So in this word, the loyalties, sometimes we may be loyal to the person, or we may be loyal to the institution. Is the loyalty towards the person or the loyalty to the institution, is it same as the loyalty towards the Brahman? So this is a question we can just try to think about. actually the loyalty towards the Brahman is a much, much deeper concept than the loyalty towards the institution or the loyalty towards the person. So because, like for example, a spiritual institution like ISKCON, when Prabhupada created the spiritual institution, he mentioned books are the basis of the institution. So by this statement, what Prabhupada is trying to say is that the basis of the institution is the books, the Shastra. That means it should be the Brahman, it should be the principles of Dharma. And the basis of the institution is the 7 principles which he gave, which are based on the Shastra. But the problem with Kali Yuga, that the time factor is such that in due course of time, sometimes the loyalty towards the institution or the loyalty towards the person can become more prominent than the loyalty towards the principles of Dharma. In that case, when the loyalty towards the person or the institution becomes more prominent than the loyalty to the principles of Dharma, then what happens is that one may, for the sake of the institution, one may compromise certain principles of Dharma. Then in a short term, one may get some certain benefit, but in the long term, one is only going to ruin the institution. But if the loyalty towards the principles of Dharma is higher than the loyalty towards the person or the loyalty towards the institution, then one will not compromise Dharma. One may scale down the operations of the institution for the sake of not compromising Dharma. So in the short term, there may be slow progress, but in the long term, the institution will be protected because you are not compromised with the principles of Dharma. Because the principle is that Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. So therefore, we always have to remember the Brahmanishta is much higher than the loyalty towards the person or an institution. That is why Prabhupada said books are the basis. So for example, maybe with the example it will become more clear. If we see the example of Bhishma and Drona, Arjuna asked that, Katam Bhishmam aham sankhe dronam cha madhusudana. How can I actually shoot my arrows at Bhishma and Drona who are worthy of my worship? I am supposed to actually offer flowers to them and worship them. But Krishna said that, but Bhishma and Drona, their loyalty is towards the kingdom of Hastinapur. And because their loyalty towards the kingdom of Hastinapur, that has become a prominent in their life than their loyalty towards the Brahman or the principles of Dharma. For the sake of the kingdom of Hastinapur, they are supporting the adharmic people. So therefore, they are no more actually in the position of the superiors, so they deserve to be killed. So Krishna is trying to emphasize this point that the loyalty toward the principles of Dharma is a higher principle than the loyalty towards the kingdom of Hastinapur. Like in our case, it may mean an institution or a person. So that is why one of the important principles in the Sanatana Dharma is that Sanatana Dharma gives the principle of the Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, which is the check and balance system. So sometimes there can be, one may be loyal towards the person, but sometimes the person can, if a person compromises in the Dharma, as in the case of Shukracharya towards Bali Maharaj. Shukracharya told Bali Maharaj not to give charity to Vamanadev. But in the case of Bali Maharaj, his loyalty toward the principles of Bhagavad Dharma were higher than the loyalty towards Shukracharya. So therefore, he refused to follow the instruction of Shukracharya, at the same time maintain his respect towards Shukracharya. Because he was in a superior position. And the last example we can see is that how the Avadut Brahmana, in the case of the Avadut Brahmana in the 11th canto, he mentions about the 24 gurus. But among the 24 gurus, he does not mention even once the name of his Diksha Guru. He does not mention even once the name of his Diksha Guru, but he has mentioned 24 gurus. So what does it show? That means it again points the principle of Brahmanishta. That means wherever he saw the teachings of his Guru coming, he accepted them as the Guru. Wherever he saw the teachings of the Shastra, from whichever place it was coming, he accepted that, he acknowledged that person as the Guru. So if a person's loyalty is more towards a particular person than towards the principles of Dharma, then we may only consider one person as the Guru, and even if that some other person may be teaching the same teachings given by the person, your Guru, then we may not give respect to that particular person. So therefore, that this point is important. This is the important quality of a Guru, that is Shrotriyam and Brahmanishtam. So therefore, that in the case of an institution or a person, the institution is created for propagating Dharma. It is not that Dharma can be compromised for the sake of the institution. So therefore, that when a disciple is loyal towards the Guru, that on what condition the disciple will not be cheated by the Guru? When the Guru is actually Brahmanishtam, when he is actually loyal towards the principles of Dharma, when he is loyal to the Shastra, the Supreme Brahman. So to summarize, what we discussed today was that we discussed about the principles of Brahmacharya. We discussed about the 4 ways in which the Varnashram term was utilized, used by Srila Prabhupada: Vedic Varnashram, Daivi Varnashram, Asurik Varnashram, and Dormant Varnashram. And then we discussed about how in the case of a Brahmachari, one should accept whatever is given as his quota by the Guru. It leads to the broader principle of acknowledging the proprietorship of the Guru. We discussed on the example of Mrigari, Vamanadev, and Mahaprabhu's dealing with Sanatana Goswami. And we discussed the example of Marutta. And then we talked about the point that when the disciple is so loyal to the Guru, can the disciple get cheated by the Guru? So the cheating will not happen provided the Guru is Brahmanishta. He is actually loyal towards the principles of truth which are mentioned in the Shastra, when he is loyal to the Param Satya. And we discussed how the Brahmanishta is a much higher concept, it's a much deeper concept than the loyalty towards a person or an institution. And that is why the Vedic Shastras they present the principle, they present the system of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Because sometimes there may be certain deviations, so therefore there's a check and balance of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. We learn the principles of Shastra from the Guru and the Sadhus, and while learning from the Guru and Sadhus, we also check with the Shastra. So with that, I'll try to end here. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.